Okay, right, now we're live. Hello everybody, welcome to Seller Ladies Live number 13. Now I've lost my chat. Professional as ever. Not sure if anybody's in. Pop something in the chat if there's anybody there. Subject today is eBay positives and gripes. Hi Jamilu. Did put something on Insta and got a few bits of feedback. I think probably we've all got a couple of big ones in common that we can chat about. And hopefully so if you've got any that we're not discussing, we will discuss Good Till Cancelled and
Somebody's got an account on YouTube.
Yeah, I've not got YouTube open. I've not got it open.
I can definitely hear someone's YouTube.
Mine's off.
I can't hear it. I can't hear an echo.
No?
Can I just say that I'm totally unprepared for this subject, so I'm holding my hands up from the offset.
Same.
Same.
Yeah, so also hi Cos, hi, oh hello Kelly, hi Mandy, hi Kath, hi Mama Five Sons. Yeah, if there's anything we're not covering or you want to add your 2 pennies, put it in the chat and we'll talk about that. So should I start with you then, Kelly?
Go on then.
All right then. Would you want to give your views on Good Till Cancelled?
Well, I was quite happy with it, to be honest, because I've got a basic shop. So the 500 extra free buy it now listings should hopefully help me transition to the next shop level.
Yeah.
Because it's 500 free for 3 months, isn't it?
3 months. Wow.
Yeah, I read the terms and conditions the other day just to make sure.
Well, I wonder if you dropped a level now, if you'd get that offer as well, because that would sort me right out.
I don't know how that would work, but yeah, for me, it's going to be beneficial. Obviously, if I don't build it up to the shop level after, I'm going to have to start paying for all these listings once the 3 months is up. Whereas a lot of you are already on the higher shop level, so you've not got that pitfall because a lot of you can't benefit from it anyway, I should imagine, because you're not using all your listings, are you?
No, exactly. I wonder if that's a ploy to get your listings up, and then you'd end up having to go up a shop level, wouldn't you?
Yeah, which is what I want to do. So it's working in my benefit. That's what I'm saying. It's working in my benefit at the moment. But if you don't want to be paying for a next shop level up, you've got to bear that in mind if you're whacking listings on to take advantage of the free ones at the moment that they're giving away.
Kath Palmer's asking what 500 free. When it first got announced that they would go over to Good Till Cancelled, a lot of us, I'm assuming everyone, got an invite at the top of their tab on their eBay homepage, basically saying you're invited to get an extra 500 listings per month for the month. As a courtesy thing, you had to click in, but it did say by invite only, but I can't see why they wouldn't have invited anyone with a shop. So, because it seems that everyone I've spoken to has got it, so it might still be there, Kath, if you've got a shop.
Yeah, when I initially went on my Seller Hub, it wasn't there, but when I looked on the Seller Update and then went back to my Seller Hub, it showed up.
Yeah.
And like Karen said, you have to opt in. You have to click on the button and opt in to get them. It won't just be automatic.
That's the same with all those offers. I think when you're a private seller, you get offers all the time, but you have to go in and accept them. I don't know why, because it's just a positive. I don't know why they just stick it on there,
Gemma Lou's saying she hasn't had it either, as well as Kath, and they've both got a shop. So you might have to go looking for it, ladies, and see if you can find it. If not, then maybe give eBay a call and see if they'll give it you that way.
Yeah. Heather, what do you think about Good Till Cancelled?
I'm in 2 minds. I really am in 2 minds about it, because in a way it maybe takes some of the pressure off of endlessly relisting. However, I used to sell similar on things that didn't have watchers and relist things that did, and it made me kind of garden my shop, if you know what I mean. Made me weed things out and look at things a bit, or at least most of the time. With this, I'm just a bit worried that managing my shop is going to be a lot more hands off. I've got 1,200 odd listings, you know. Geez, you know, it's a lot to be looking after. So I'm worried that things are going to slip off or go unnoticed or languish. But, you know, the thing is, I've got absolutely no choice about it. So I've just got to crack on and make it work. But I haven't quite figured out exactly what the best way to do it might be.
Yeah, I think it's going to involve some kind of, what is it, being organised or something, like motivation or something, so that you're right on the first of the month or something. I've got to go through my listings because there's no prompt anymore. There will be no prompt.
Saying that, I don't really know how good till cancelled listings are affected if you want to go in and revise them as such or end them, or is it simple? Can you go in and revise them and do you get charged again, or is it just classed as a basic revision?
If it's a revision, it's a revision.
Yeah.
Right.
If you end it and then relist it, obviously you're going to get recharged a relisting fee. Whether that only cycled over 2 days ago and then you're ending it and then you're restarting it, you will get charged an additional relisting fee.
Right. Okay.
I think Sarah Woolley's saying something about that. With those of you with higher shop levels, will you end listings and then relist once they're at the end of the monthly cycle if you can catch them in time, if that makes sense? Yeah, because isn't there going to be something, I don't know if it's going to be in the active listings page where you'll see when it's due to turn over again, even though it won't actually end and restart, when it's due to end its cycle. Yeah. But it is another step though, isn't it? If you've actually got to end. I don't think I can be asked to end and relist. It's like another step in it, isn't it?
And what we don't know is whether any activity within your listing is going to be picked up by the algorithm as an activity, which is a good thing. That's the bit that really interests me.
Yeah, I think it'll work well with things like the sales that you can create and things like that. I think that's going to be beneficial. I think Andrew and Nick spoke to, I can't remember the lady's name, from eBay, didn't she? And she was explaining all the different promotional tools that you can use. And one of them that she said was perfect for good till cancelled listings. So
I think, to be honest, all of us are going to be probably a lot of us will be trying different strategies. We're going to have different ways of trying to get around it. And I don't think after like a week, 2 weeks, even a month, I reckon 3 to 6 months down the line is when we'll figure out what works for us. It's going to be a lot of guesswork until then.
It's all guesswork now.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know if doing self-similar actually does any difference to a relist. You don't know if things do languish down the longer. You just don't know.
We try and do these little experiments, you know, to try and test things out. Oh, let's test out free shipping, or let's test out. And it's never conclusive.
No.
What do you use, Bex? Do you use a lot of good till cancelled in your store?
We do. We've obviously got the main store, which Zahir mainly works on, and then I've got the second store that I'm actually trying to get back into and build again. On both stores, we actually use good to cancelled. For me, on the second store, it made sense to me just to start with what I'm familiar with, and with the main store, that's what we were doing, was having the good to cancelled. It works really, really well because of the sort of things that we do sell on that store, because that way we've got like the quantity, like we've got multiple items basically, so we've got the quantity that sits there, and you can see how many we've sold. We use like the promotional tools and markdown manager and things like that, so and that really, really works well for us in that respect. And so when it came to doing the second store, I did a similar thing, which was to keep the good to cancel going, and I plan on just using like the tools within eBay. When it comes to like my inventory, I actually have spreadsheets for the second store, so I know when I've listed it and how long it's been there for.
Wow.
So Yeah, but I haven't got very many listings, so I've kind of started from scratch, knowing how I want to work forward with it. So
is it general on the second store, Bex?
yeah, it's
general stuff.
What we've done with the stores, we want to keep it really, really separate. So the second store is now going to be like the general store, and then the main store is going to be like the RC parts and like hobby stuff. That's the way we want to keep it. So yeah.
Veranda Files in the chat said that to look at data mine to manage your stale listings. Got YouTube videos, and they also have a Facebook group. So I'm imagining that's some sort of app or that type of thing that you can keep track of when your listings are going stale and not getting no views and that sort of thing. I don't know. It might be worth looking at that, I suppose.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Bex is the organised person that can cope with good to cancel. She's already feeling like she's got a spreadsheet, which is what we're all going, I don't know how I'm going to track it.
but it's from the point of view that I kind of, not like I knew what was coming, but I wanted a way to track my stock, and then also I can, because I'm putting a date that it's actually been listed, I can actually see how long it's been sat there for. And if I do want to reduce the price or like run a promotion on like that kind of section, then it's kind of like fairly straightforward and easy.
Do you think, like you got up to say 1,200 listings or something, would you still be spreadsheeting it, or do you think it would get to a stage where you just go, I can't do it anymore?
Probably not. If I got to that level, I probably wouldn't be able to do it. Like I said, currently I've got about 117 listings on the second store. I've still got so much stock that I've got to get through to kind of get listed. But no, I couldn't see myself. It really does depend on how it goes. As long as I don't like lose track, because I've got a process when I do my listing, I kind of immediately have my spreadsheet open, so I'm automatically doing my listing and entering it in, because it's all of my stock's got like a little code, so I know where it is, which box it's in. So it's fairly easy as long as you've got it in place in the first place.
Yeah, I bet with that amount of stock, you can just find it all as well, just straight off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really quite simple.
I mean, the thing is, I suppose you could always use the SKU system, couldn't you? You could put it all in there. You could put, say, I don't know. I mean, you've seen my reference system, so I could put F4 in there. Then I could put F4 free, so I paid £3 for it. And then I could put, I don't know, 0202, because that's when I've listed it. The 2nd of February. You know, it could be done in that, couldn't it?
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah, I think I could cope with that, because it's just there, isn't it? You don't have to do anything separate.
But the one I'm thinking of is I have got about 1,200 listings currently. So how do I get an inventory list that I can work with? Because I can't ever seem to get this, to actually get it ported across perhaps to an Excel spreadsheet, so that maybe I can at least hazard a guess at how long it's been on for.
Well, if you're going to do the SKU system, I'd start it. So say if you're going to start it when they make us start it on the 1st of April, just then put in the date then, because you don't know when you brought it, you know, but you know the date you're listing it on the good till cancelled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then anything that hasn't got a date in is pre-April.
But doesn't that mean I've still got to type out 1,200 items? I don't think I can cope.
What we're saying is you can put it in your SKU box. So you know, when you go to list, you've got that SKU box. You could put it in there. You don't need to do the spreadsheet. If you don't
have to do any extra work, which is what I could cope with.
Okay, I see. I get your drift now. Yes, I could probably even manage that. Yeah, I never use the SKU box at the moment.
Yeah, I don't. So that's why I'm thinking, well, that would be quite neat to stick the date in there.
I don't. That's why I had someone message me.
That's a great idea.
That's why someone messaged me yesterday. I've got a Manta dress on, and at the end of the listing it says L444, which is L4 is the box, £4, but I paid for it. Is that 44 centimetres in length or 90 centimetres in length, like the listing? It's a dress. It's not 44 centimetres.
Yeah, but that is one of my gripes with eBay, the way they keep bringing things in and they're just expecting you to just be able to do it like that. I mean, luckily I'm not a big shop, but some of you guys have Oh, it's a nightmare.
Oh, Kelly's frozen.
Oh. We've got a very useful thing in the chat, actually. A very helpful Sarah Woolley is saying that we can pull. Hang on, let me get this here. Oh my!
Active listings report.
Active listings report. And oh, my chat's frozen now. And she was saying something else, and very useful hints in there, I'm sure.
Yeah, all of this info is available on active listings reports on eBay that tells you when items were first listed. I didn't even know about that, so I guess that's in reports.
I've only been doing this for how many years? I'm such an amateur.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, the thing is, there's all those things at the top, and if you're that way minded, you're IT minded or something. I remember Siv K was going, oh, if you go to blah blah blah, because he's had a background in IT, and he just went through and just worked out what everything is. Whereas I only go to it if I'm after something, because that's work. Yeah, I'm going to need to have a look at that. That is interesting, isn't it? I'm trying to read, and so where did we get to? Did you just give your thoughts on good till cancel, Karen?
Yeah.
Did we do?
Huh?
Did we just get your thoughts on good till cancelled?
No. When I first went on I done a video about it, didn't I? The day I found out about it, and I spat my bummy out the pan. What are we gonna do? And then I've actually rationalised it a bit. Like you kept saying, Shelley, we're all going to be in the same boat. We are all going to be in the same boat. There's none of this 10-day listings, none of this 30-day listings. It's just good till cancelled. I'm going to be using my auctions a lot more. So I'm going to be pulling my lower value stock. I'm putting that on, or putting up so much for it a day, I'm putting it on auctions to clear it. I'm also, on the 1st of each month, I'm going to revise every single listing and reduce the price if it hasn't got watchers. Because that's what I do once a month anyway when it comes to sell similar. And to be honest, I think it's going to save me loads of time. Doing that once a month is going to save me so much more time rather than doing 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. I might actually get my weekends back.
So that's a positive then.
You know, and also, and as I've said to you ladies, this could be very unpopular. I think for once they've given a one-up to the business sellers, because there are features that private sellers do not have. They do not have the markdown manager. They do not have the sale with the markdown where you can do the buy one get one free or the buy one get one 30% off. There's a lot of features that are only applicable to us business sellers, and I think we've got to start using them.
Not shops.
No, as far as I'm aware, it's business sellers. It might even be shops.
It would make a change, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So, you know, I think we've got to start using the features that we pay our extortionate shop fees for. Yeah. And I don't think it matters what level you're on. Compared to a private seller, we're paying an extortionate amount. So I think we've got to start making the most of it.
But see, you've got a positive in there. But another positive, as it's apt to say now, compared to I don't know what this thing is. I'd love to know what the kind of thinking is of eBay between, they seem to really encourage the private sellers, you know, there's always incentives, not so much a business. I don't know what their ethos is there. I'd really love to know. But you're saying, the extortionate fees, and relatively to the private sellers, but somebody did, it was Pound Girl actually did say, as a positive, let's remember, like there's two bits of, you know, eBay is still giving us a worldwide market, and compared to bricks and mortar, it's dirt cheap. So I thought, that's a really good point to remember, that those are positive. I mean, I was trying to sort of say what are the current gripes, but that's good things to remember.
And no other online platform. I mean, all four of us, we deal with a lot of ladies' clothing, or second-hand clothing. No other online platform has got the presence as eBay has that can demand the money it can demand for second-hand clothing. I'd like to see anyone try and get some of the figures that we get for second-hand clothing. I'm not saying we all get high-end, but the figures we get for second-hand clothing on places like Facebook Marketplace and Shop, I don't think it's possible. And Depop just isn't. I know Depop's a growing market, but it's still not as well used as other platforms.
I wonder how in America, because they've got Poshmark, how that compares to clothes on eBay. Because some people are going all out for Poshmark, aren't they?
Yeah.
Have we got plans to get that? Going off subject a bit.
Apparently they are looking at launching it over here, but if it's anything like Macari, it won't be any good, will it? Because Macari, haven't they gone under now over here? Or they've
Just
closed
pulling out the UK, I think.
Yeah, because they're still going strong in America. So.
Yeah. There's a few things pulling out the UK. I hope that's not to do with the B word. I was going to say, which somebody reminded me actually. I can't remember who it was. And I know it was George, wasn't it? Where's he gone? I'm not reading out everything George said because he followed it up with a load of rubbish. But basically, Happy International Women's Day, all of the ladies. I can't find it, but you can see it in there. And hello everybody that's come in, Chris, Lainey, that I didn't say hello to, George, rapping in the background. Bronwyn, from Australia.
Oh wow,
cool. So some positives. Who hasn't got thoughts?
You, Shelley? You haven't spoke about it.
Well, do you want to do yours, Karen?
I can do, yeah.
Your strategy.
I've written down a few things that I want to do because I have been quite lazy with just sticking something on and hoping I get what I want for it. So my strategies are to do a postage discount for people who buy more than one item, because I'm charging postage now. So hopefully that might encourage people to buy more than one thing. I'm going to run sales more frequently because I've only done it once or twice on my covers. I haven't done it on actual clothes or any shoes or anything. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to check all my items are in categories so that my shop looks better, because I do try and do it every so often, but I have got a lot of stuff that's just in other, which it needs to go in its category. And also, my last thing was, which would have sounded really intelligent at the beginning of this, which was I'm going to put when I bought the item in the SKU. So I can keep track of, not when I bought it, sorry, when I listed it, so that I know how long it's been listed. But I didn't know about the active listing report, so I've written that down to try and remember that.
Yeah, I'm going to need reminding of that. So you've thought about all of these things because of the big change, really, of the good till cancelled.
Yeah, I think good till cancelled works really well if you've got multiples of items. I mean, when I was at my height of selling my covers, it used to look great that I'd sold like 300 and something of one cover. That used to look really appealing to buyers, but obviously we're selling one-off items, so it's not going to look so good. You know, it's just going to. And also, I saw someone put in the chat, remember, if you've got two of something, it'll go to out of stock and it'll stay listed but be in out of stock. So you've got to remember to take that off, otherwise you'll get charged for that again.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, I missed that bit.
If you've got like two of an item or something, what will happen is the listing will stay there, but it won't be visible and it will say out of stock.
Okay.
So like, if someone goes to it that's been watching it, it'll just say this item is out of stock. You'll still get charged for it, or it will use up one of your listings. So you need to make sure that you take it off if you're not going to be relisting. I mean, I've got about 8 things out of stock at the minute because they're covers that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the fabric again. So I don't want to end the listing because then it will just be gone if I'm going to get the fabric again. But I don't mind that. That's only about 8 listings. But that's just something to be aware of that was in the chat there. And I'd forgotten to say that, yeah.
I got sidetracked by Kath saying that she's been having a look around her emails and she has actually found it in there. So yeah, if it's not come up on your Seller Hub, go and have a look for it because it's probably there somewhere.
I've just been sidetracked by Sarah Woolies explaining about this. Go to Seller Overview, then File Exchange Center. I didn't even know there was a File Exchange Center. Create download requests, and then there are a bunch of reports you can download. Wow, that is total. There's a whole area I didn't know about.
Is that on PayPal or eBay?
eBay. Sorry, I'm being nosy. I'm doing this now.
All right.
Oh,
No, it works.
go on the board.
Right.
See,
So
that's the thing as well. There's so much available to us that we don't even know
Yes.
about.
Yeah.
Yes.
As daft as it sounds, we don't
And
know it's there.
The thing is, I mean, you can like it or you can not like it, but unfortunately, it's eBay's platform and it's coming in.
Mm.
You know, I think it's okay not liking it, but you need to have a strategy in place as to what you're going to do. Because it doesn't matter how much you don't like it, you either do something or you leave the platform. You know, and that sounds really harsh and everything, but
There's the door. Shut the door on your way out.
No, I don't know. Do you know, it's true though. I'm just going to shut up now. Leave me to it.
Karen, and don't go running to Karen when you've done it. It's not interesting.
Shelley, would you all like to hear a bit of knowledge I gained last night when I was watching my small business, homemade business webinar?
Oh yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So one of the strategies, and apparently it really does work, is you need to have a mixture range of prices in your shop.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people that just go for high-end stuff. Apparently you need to have a good mixture of middle price stuff, a little bit of lower price stuff for people that just want to spend like £5 to £10, I'm trying to think of the percentages. I've got it written down in the other room. A percentage of high price stuff, and then a small amount of really stupidly priced stuff. Because believe it or not, the stupidly priced stuff makes people buy high price stuff. Stupid prices, high prices, majority mid-range prices, and then some low prices. And apparently it's something to do with psychology. If people are looking at your, you know, I don't know if anyone else does this, but if I'm looking at someone who's a reseller, I'll look at their other items to see what they've got in their shop. And apparently if somebody does that, psychologically, they're more inclined to buy off you if they see you've got a larger range of prices rather than everything a similar price.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I don't know if that's worth a go.
I don't know how many people, as in actual buyers rather than resellers, will go and look at someone's shop.
Right.
Because they're going to have to trawl through a lot of listings if they come to my shop, and I have got the most bizarre collection of items. It's like,
I've had recently, since I've done this, quite funny, since I've done this, I've got a new promotion going on my store. You know, the one where basically I'm doing, if they buy one thing, they get something else 25% off. Because I'm half free shipping now, and it's only my free shipping items, basically I'm giving them their second postage back. So I've implemented that. But you know what? I think it must be a glitch, because if they send through offers, they don't get the 25% off the second one. But because they're still sending the offers, they're actually, I think because they see the original offer, they're still going on and going down the listings and looking for more. But then I do have my shop categories into sizes. I mean, I've only got women's clothing, but it's all in sizes. If you're a size 12, it's all in the size 12 category.
Right, I see.
I was just about to say that. Do you think it'll make a difference with what your actual shop categories are? Because mine at the moment is really basic. It's just ladies' clothing, men's clothing, ladies' shoes and bags, men's shoes and bags, that sort of thing. Do you think it'll make a difference with how you categorise your shop? I mean, how do you all use the categories?
I've got categories, but I've got a big other category, I've got a big vintage category, but I've got brands in there because I'm assuming if somebody's Googling, maybe it will help them go by brand, or if they do find their way to the shop and they like a certain brand, even though it's different sizes in there. So there's, you know, if I've got a lot of that brand, I'll stick it.
That's
do a
interesting.
brand.
Never thought of that.
No, I didn't either. I do ladies' skirts, ladies' dresses, ladies' trousers, ladies' tops. I've got it all split that way because that's how my stock is split. That's how my stock's split. So it's getting but I've also got ceramics and glassware and there is other, but an awful lot of my stuff isn't other.
I kind of thought, oh, that looks nice as well. If somebody comes in, they see, Bowden, Gant, Desigual, and they can go, oh, okay, yeah, I like that brand as well. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. It's all guesswork, isn't it?
It is guesswork, isn't it? Yeah. So what's your strategy anyway then, Shelley, for Good Till Cancelled?
I don't know if I've got a strategy. However, Yeah, I did say that it's going to put us all on a level playing field, and I'm really, really interested to see. Yeah, I have no strategy, but how, you know, like we'll see each other's graphs, and frickin' at the peaks and troughs of our sales. So interested to see if it has any difference on that, with us all being more level, apart from the people that are willing to pay to promote their listings. Because at the moment it so feels like there's a spotlight going around, and then suddenly, wow, sales, oh, nothing, 0 sales, you know, and it's so stark.
Do you know what? I had that on Monday. Monday I had 9 sales, which for me on Monday that's really good. I normally get 3 or 4 on a Monday. I'm normally quiet on a Monday. It tends to be the weekend, then quiet on a Monday, then Tuesday starts to kind of like get a bit better. And then Tuesday I had none. So I've gone from 9 sales to 0 sales.
Yeah. It can't be a coincidence when the graphs are so regular like that, with all of us, I think.
Exactly. I have 1,200 items listed. I'll sell £200 worth one day and £29 the next. It's like, I mean, if you've got low levels of listings, I think as we've seen, you know, you're going to get variation just because you haven't got enough for it to be consistent. But when you get to this level, when you get to that level, the wall of clothing, the installation art piece that is current stockroom, then, you know, to have a practically no sales day seems absurd. It just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, and there's nothing to say that it will even it out, but it would be an interesting turn up. It would be better, because obviously it's great when it's all chinging off, but when it's dire, it upsets me.
Yeah, I mean, I normally find if I get sales in the morning, I'll have a good day. If I don't, I mean, I didn't get sales today till 1 o'clock, so I expect to get probably another 1 or 2 sales today, if that. But I normally find if they start off early in the morning, I get a good day. It's just
because maybe your spotlight's on that day.
Yeah,
I've had nothing today. Absolutely nothing.
it's bizarre. 50 plus postage, Heather.
What's it? Nothing plus postage.
No return though.
That's right.
Can I just ask, am I back in or what? Am I back
in?
Oh, right.
Oh, you're in,
Thank you.
We had you twice for a minute there. We had 2 pictures.
I thought that, I've come back on my iPad.
You're
very quiet.
A bit low.
Yeah, you are quite quiet.
Oh.
I was going to say, Beck, you're quite quiet as well.
Who?
Beck's quite quiet. She needs a mic closer to her.
Is that any better?
Yes, that's
better. Shall we try and put a positive in?
Yes.
Sandwich it in between the next pile of crap. Kelly, have you got a positive while you're with us?
What for?
eBay. eBay.
Oh, well, yeah, I love eBay. I mean, some of the stuff...
Oh, you're really quiet.
Some of this stuff... Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's like you're under a bucket of water.
Oh, I don't know why it's doing that.
Turn your volume up.
Hold on.
That sometimes works.
With iPad, doesn't it? Because when you went on your iPad to try it, Corin, it was the same, weren't it?
Yeah.
How's it now? Oh, you're joking.
You have to learn sign language.
Go to somebody else.
All right, yeah, go on. Heather, have you got a positive?
I think in some ways it's going to simplify things. That sort of thing when they all kind of drop off the end of a cliff at the end of a month, and then you've got to put them back on again, and it's like, well, have I lost something on the way, which can happen in that process? So maybe the positive is, hello, someone nice palm there. The positive could be that things are less likely to drop off, and I think that might be one of the reasons why eBay's done it.
That would be good. Speaking of which, somebody may have briefly mentioned as well, positive on that is, of course, we do spend, Karen, you mentioned, I spend ages like fanning around my re-lists and like, oh, how many views did it get, and blah, blah, blah. And maybe it is going to save us a bit of time tinkering time when it's just.
Yeah, I think if you do it all in one batch lot, you'll sit down, you're focused. But yeah, I'm not denying it. I think it's going to take me about an hour on the first of every month, if not a bit longer, because I am carrying just under at the month, 900 listings. So I think it is going to take me that long to go through them all. But doing that hour, I think will save me time in the long run.
Yeah, it is a kind of organising your time thing, isn't it? Rather than always being, or like you touch something once rather than 5 times.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I know some people are really, really good at this, taking time off. I know, hats off to you, right? But if I've got stuff that's ended, I am relisting it that day.
Same.
So I work, whether it's only 10 minutes, I work 7 days a week, and I am actually looking forward to having weekends off and not relisting, because what I've done today is I've done loads of listings. I've already pulled out of 2 boxes stuff that's going to be going on to auction. I've scheduled, so I've basically, when you go on to the item, you can go action and you can assign to auction style listing. I've done that and I've scheduled them for Saturdays and Sundays, and then boxes have been refilled up, and because I've got a featured shop, they're scheduled now for listing on Saturday and Sunday. So that's, when I'm on all good till cancelled, that will be my work done.
Yeah,
and I can actually enjoy weekends off.
That would be good for me as well.
Aren't you ka-ching?
Oh, hello as well to some more people coming in. Barry's here, who's also had no sales. Richard. Who else is? Yeah, I think we're up to. And Carly. How are you doing now, Kelly?
I was just about to say it. Can you hear me now?
It's a bit better.
Andrea sent me a message, said take your iPad out its case.
Ah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's a bit quiet.
But we can hear you.
Yeah.
As long as you get the gist.
Do you want to do your positive? If you've got one.
Yeah, I was just saying, eBay is a platform like no other. You won't get the eyes on your items like you do on eBay if you're promoting it right, as in your keywords. I mean, like Karen said earlier, some of the clothing items, you'd never get that anywhere else. The high prices that you get. And as for other platforms coming on board, I think you've got to remember that eBay has been around for so long that other platforms will struggle to catch up to the level that eBay is, as much as we call eBay sometimes. I mean, you got them now, haven't you? You got your Spock and your Macari and them type of things. Still rate eBay, I do, above all the others.
Yeah, I think it's possible though that another, like eBay obviously realised they can't be totally complacent because another platform could come along and rise up. I mean, Etsy, you can get better prices for certain stuff, but it tends to be a longer wait, I think.
Yeah,
but
we know about Etsy and Spock, but the public don't. The public know eBay because it's been around for so long.
Yeah, I suppose everyone knows eBay, don't they?
Exactly, yeah. So we, in this reselling community, maybe some of the younger generations know about these apps and things, but eBay's just been around for so long that that's the first thing people think of when they think of a second-hand item of clothing.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think the reason why, like, when we go on about like how private sellers have got 1,000 free listings a month, is because you or me listing our own stuff, we're not that bothered how much we're going to get for it in reality, are we? If it saves us, yes, we don't have to go to the post office, we don't have to post it. If someone's going to come and collect it, don't pay fees on Spock, don't pay fees on Facebook Marketplace, and they are competing with them for the private sellers.
Let them have them.
Where did we get with positives? Who was
Beck, I think.
Bex?
Have
you got a current positive?
I don't know. I'm hoping just to be able to use more of eBay's tools as well as the auctions as well, because I'm really rubbish at using the auctions. But to try and drive traffic to the store, I'm hoping to kind of run more auctions overall and just use up my monthly quantities. I'm not sure on Zahir's opinion on the main store, but he has, I don't know how many listings of auctions, and we don't use those either.
Well, I think that's because there's a funny thing I've discovered with auctions where I've had stuff on Buy It Now for ages at a cheap price. So I'd already had it on for £5. I've stuck it on auction and it's sold for £5. And I'm like, well, it's like some people. Well, obviously you can search by auctions or Buy It Now, and some people like the auction and they might not find your stuff if you only ever use it Buy It Now, I guess. So yeah, it might drive traffic.
Also, I found whenever I've done auctions, my views on my store, my page hits, etc. You know, like you've got them listed impressions and all that stuff. They go up when I've got auctions running. Doesn't necessarily mean the auctions are going to sell, but the views and all them things go up. So it's got to have something to correlate with that. So I think I know there's a lot of like hesitance towards using auctions. I'm not saying everyone go out there and use 99p auctions. Use it at your Buy It Now price, or use it on the stuff you have had sitting around for ages you do not care about.
Yeah.
I think we sometimes get stuck in our own little bubble of our eBay, and we forget how massive it is, a platform. I mean, if you only doing Buy It Nows, you've got to look at how many Buy It Nows are actually on there consistently, and when you're buying from eBay, trying to filter out businesses or highest price or where you want it to come from, it can be quite difficult. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, Corin, did you want to do positive?
I think a positive for me is I'm going to try and, because my plan was to build up my amount of listings, but I think I'm just going to concentrate on quality listings as much as I can. And I really want to get back into my sewing because I've really neglected that. So I think having this good till cancelled is going to help me to get back into my other income stream, which is making my covers, and I'm going to make cushion covers and possibly aprons as well. So a positive from this happening is that I might get more sewing done.
Shall I give the big fat positive that everyone's going to throw stuff at the screen at me for?
Oh, go on.
The button.
Oh yeah.
You haven't got it yet, have you, Karen? You haven't got it.
No.
Have none of you got it yet?
No.
Okay.
You're the chosen one, Shell.
Yeah. So the offers to buyers, it's called, and I don't know how long they're rolling this out over, but I've had it for quite a while, I think.
But you can do it via an external link as well, which is why.
Yeah, which you've been sharing, haven't you, in the chat?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat as well.
But I wonder how different it will be when everybody's got the button. But I'm just spamming watchers at the moment with offers. Like as soon as I can, I send another one out. And like you said, Karen, like it's having a weird effect where sometimes something sells on the offer, but sometimes it feels like it boosts the listing. It just goes at the asking price to somebody else. So I think best for me, best like tool that I can think of at the moment that eBay brought out is that offers to buyers, they call it. I think it should be called offers to watchers button. And when everybody's got it, everyone's going to love it, I'm sure.
Yeah. But
Thrifty Trooper, I've had offers to buyers for ages, at least a month. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to go at Thrifty Trooper.
Oh, so you're in Thrifty Trooper then, you're in your own little select group, aren't you?
Yeah, with my trousers. Yeah. So
yeah.
Is there a glitch on the button? Shelley Jo says probably.
Yeah, that's probably why they're rolling it out, because like I said to you ladies before, I've done it by the external one. I've got an item at the moment with 22 watchers. Tried to send the offers to the watchers, and it says processing error, and that is probably what they're trying to iron out before they roll it out across the board, because it's easier to iron that out on a smaller scale than it is the bigger scale.
Yeah,
that's my opinion, and that's what's making me feel good about having to type that link in every 5 seconds.
Yeah, because I've had some where it said, "Oh, it's got an issue and I can't do it," and then one day they'll just disappear completely. It disappeared and then it came back. So yeah.
And we know that we've all had items that have come up open to offers to watchers that have got 0 watchers.
Yeah, got that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'd say all this moaning about eBay, I'd like to know how many people have ever tried selling full-time on Facebook, because you can't. That is stressful. You think you have non-payers on eBay, try selling for a Facebook page. That's one big reason I closed down the craft supply business that I was doing. I was selling primarily on there. About a third of the items would not get paid for, because you haven't got that buy it now button. Now, I know we all get occasional ones that don't sell complete with it, and I know that, but it's nothing compared to selling through some other platforms. If you've not got that buy box where they've got to pay straight away, the amount of time wasters that you will get.
Yeah, that's the other thing about the offers to watchers. That little message I get is really short. They're not going to get bored, and the button's right underneath it. They just got to go. Yeah, it's so good. Really well done. There was one woman, I can't remember who interviewed her. It was an American YouTuber who was selling cross-stitch kits or something. She managed to come off and build a massive cross-stitch empire on Facebook, because she had all those contacts and she invited them all to her group. And it's like a massive swapping group, and that's the only other person I've ever heard of doing that. But yeah, it's hard, much harder. And also you've got, I think that's a lot more where people are still using like PayPal to send the stuff to each other, rather than, oh, is Joe going to turn up on Saturday afternoon or not, you know?
And then you have to, I mean, especially if you're doing multi-quantity. So a bit like Bex and Steve's, you know, if your RC went onto a different platform that didn't have the stock control like eBay does, you would have to manually adjust your stock levels. And then if the person doesn't pay, you've got to manually adjust it back. You've then got to also send them an invoice, which if you're doing like 20, 30 orders a day, it takes blinking time. So I would say you may not like all the things that are coming through, but seriously, try some of the other platforms if you think it's greener on the other side.
We're still here. Everyone's still using eBay for a reason, because it's still, you know, we haven't found a good enough alternative. So, well, that sounds really negative, doesn't it? Because it's quite good, that's what I mean, I think.
I think often we focus on the small negatives that happen every now and again, and forget to think about all the positive sales that you have every single day or every week. If you're not having a sale some days, obviously smaller shops like me, some days I don't have no sales, but overall it's a positive seller experience. But those awkward buyers that you get, they stick in your mind, don't they? And then you talk to somebody else about it and they start saying, well, yeah, I've got one like that as well. And you think it kind of makes it grow bigger than it actually is, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's generally a pretty good platform. I'm kind of curious as to whether we will get something a bit like Poshmark, because what I've seen with the Americans, and especially a couple of the ones that I have occasionally followed, is they have literally completely jumped ship. So you have to have something with a very, very strong offer with a massive reach ever so quickly for that to happen here. I'm not sure that's likely to happen. So eBay is, that's what pays my living. So yeah.
Right.
I can't get no chat up, so I don't know what's happening in the chat.
Oh, not a lot.
People are moaning about selling on Facebook. I'm not the only one.
Yeah, Palisades come in with a comment here saying, on offers to watchers, on some listings it'll only let me send to 5 out of 10 watchers, not the 10. I found that the same, where I've got a few watchers, it'll send it to 2, not the 6 that are there. Is that across the board? Is that how it's going to be, or is this a glitch?
I don't know what that is, because I've had that, and I assume, because I'm like, as soon as I can send offers out, I'm doing it, that those were existing watchers that had already had an offer from me, and so it was new joiners to the watcher group that I can send to, but I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think they actually only send it to a couple of them, and I've no idea why.
And I do think they'll only let you send so many offers at a time, because what I noticed the other day is it comes up that I've got no offers to send out. Then this is the other evening. I sent out 2 offers, and then there was no more, because you get maximum of 5 on each time, don't you? And then one sold, so I went back in. I had another offer, so I sent that offer out. That sold, went back in, had another offer. That one didn't sell, went back in, no offers. So I think it'll only let you send out so many offers at once.
Mm.
Oh, you mean as a whole, as the total
Yeah.
of offers
Yeah.
pending? Yeah.
Yeah, because on a load of my listings, it's not eligible for me to send an offer either, even though there's watchers. Yeah, it would be good to know what makes it eligible then.
Yeah.
Well, I've just tried the link what Karen put in the chat there, and I had 5 items came up on my shop with send offers, and 3 of them are out of stock. They're covers that are out of stock, so that's totally useless to me. So I've only got 2 items.
And then what you do is you send the 2, you close it down, you go back in it, and you'll have another 2. Then you close. I know it's long-winded, but until you get the button, that's how you work it.
Right.
Until you're only left with them covers, and then you know you've sent all the ones that you can.
Right. I'll give that a go. Thank you.
Right, I think we really ought to bring up.
Very, very quickly. What, 10 minutes?
Yeah, I'm presuming everybody is aware of this. Last year, they were about to implement the higher final value fee if you, on the, the service metrics, if you were going into like high level of dings, you would get an extra, was it 4% charge on your final value fee?
Yeah.
In that category. So if you're getting, what do you get dings for?
Item not described.
Yeah, delayed defects affect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all these things that you can get dings for. And then I think there was a bit of a rumpus and they delayed it. I think it was till next month. I tried to look, and when you look at like charges for sellers under the eBay shops or whatever, it mentions it already, but it doesn't say when it's coming in. It mentioned it like it was already in, but
I'm looking at it at the moment.
Oh yeah, it doesn't give a date, does it?
Oh, it does. It is already in, apparently. In this update, we have now started, but they are now starting on the 1st of October. They're actually starting it on the 1st of February, so it's already started. Started last month.
Oh my God. So yeah, that snuck in then, because I thought it was being delayed till April. And when I read the thing, I said, oh, it's reading like it's already in.
Mm-hmm.
So we're already, if you go into that higher band, which I'm finding it's not going to be that difficult, when you've got people who are genned up and like, how can I get a free return label? Because, you know, they can go on groups and find this out. Your dings can go up quite quickly, even though, you know, you're a good seller. And one of my beefs, so it's already in, oh my God. One of my beefs with that is as well, like when you look at your service metrics, you can't, so like I've got some INADs, some item not described. I can't click on it and find out which ones are they, because I've had conversations with eBay and said, look, blah, blah, blah. There's, you know, I've refuted something. They've said, fine. I said, can you take the defect off?
Oh,
and I've got it's not coming off.
No, they're not. That's what I noticed. Because I went into the high category, not the very high, the high category for a couple of weeks, I think it was. And I had exactly that. And I looked through it and I was like, there's no way I've had this many. Once the ones that should have been taken off, and I've had 3 where I've actually won the case and eBay have refunded them. And they have assured me that DIM will come off my account, and it hasn't.
Same. I think that's what's happening, because I looked and was like, I know I haven't got that many. And I'm sure I heard one of the Americans talking about that they got to the bottom of it and they said, no, we can't remove that, but you'd have to fight it on the percentage, like off your bill. Like, we can't fight it on every freaking sale, can you? That's ridiculous. And you need to be able to see, well, what are my actual dings on, so you can then ring up and say, oh, you did say you'd remove this.
But I must admit, I think, and I've said this from when they were going to introduce it, if my fees go up, the customers' price is going to go up. Because I can't foot the bill, and I don't see why I should foot the bill.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think about this, Kelly?
To be honest, I don't think I'm qualified to say anything, because I've only ever had 1 ding.
You only ever one. Okay. Well,
yeah. So I haven't. It's not really.
I can learn from you then. But you know, like for instance, I this week I had one and I kicked myself, because you know how we should just say, if it's brown, just say brown. Don't get into like contrasts of colours.
Yes. And
I stupidly did. I put oatmeal. I think I got cocky, and the woman's done an item not as described, because she thinks it's more golden. Like,
Sorry to
that's
laugh.
my own fault. You are?
I said I'm sorry to laugh, but it's madness, isn't it? That is.
I know. I thought it's my own fault. I should have said brown, and she couldn't have disputed it because I got into shades. Like
the only time I get into shades is if the shade is actually on the hair label, and I'll make sure I take a photo of that and I'll put that in the blinking listing, because then they can argue the manufacturer, not me.
I think I got lucky. It was a stupid thing to do, so everyone learned by my mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they can. It's the thing that gets to me about it is the peers thing. How they measure our peers. You know, I mean, I'm assuming you and me are in the same bracket, Shelley, with what you sell.
Yeah, it was.
My peers is 0.66% this month, and they are now. I'm at 1.2, but I'm still in the average category just.
I won't mention any names, but I've seen people on Instagram who've got fantastic looking shops, and they really work hard at what they do, and they're getting the increased fees through these dings of, like you say, people sending things back for false reasons to get the free returns. So, I mean, would it benefit you to offer free returns in the first place?
Do you know what? When they first talked about offering free returns, the thing that got to me the most was they put in it, they actually wrote in it to stop false returns being opened. So you're punishing us because the customers are lying.
Yeah.
I'm not offering free returns. I can't warrant free returns. I get enough returns because their butts don't fit in something as it is.
Well, yeah, and if you've got quite a lot of low value items and you're doing a free return, and that's an extra few pounds, and that's almost worth selling those items, is it? It's all right if it's a £100 item. What do you think about this, Heather?
Sorry, I was busy sneezing. You mean returns on things?
No, the increased, like, as soon as you get a certain amount of dings and you go measured against your peers, if you go high, then you're going to be charged extra final value fees on your sales.
Yeah, I was just trying to have a look at it, and I don't think I'm up there yet. I get the occasional in-ad, and I sort it the best I can, but I haven't seen anything that leads me to believe I'm too close to coming up to it. The stuff against your peers is just complete and utter rubbish.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on television now. Mustn't swear. Insert several Anglo-Saxon words here, but you know, it is a load of old botty chatter. It really is. So yeah, I'm just kind of hoping that we ride through it, but I've had people return stuff and try and make out it's not as described. If I can get to them before they open an in-ad, then I'll send them a label, but at least it doesn't go as a ding. So I try and get in there quick, but some people don't give you that chance.
No.
Well, yes, they don't contact you and they just go straight in there, and then you're buggered. And I think that some people wouldn't do it if they realised how it was going to. It's not just paying for the label back, but it's actually going to affect all of our future freaking sales if we go. I bet people have no idea of that. Buyers wouldn't.
Well, do you know what, right? I got an in-ad, right? And this is the one that really gets on my goat, right? Items not as described, right? And do you know what it was? Items too small. Thought I was a size 14. I'm more of a 16. And because eBay want you to automatically accept returns, which doesn't bother me, to be honest, because I ain't got to deal with them, right, as such. But because on items not as described, you've got to accept them automatically. When you phone them up, they go, oh, but you've accepted it. Well, you didn't give me a choice, you know. And I'll still get that ding, though it's an item doesn't fit. They've done it as an item not as described.
Yeah, and you can't seem to get it removed. And Mandy's saying, again, we're all in the same boat. We're getting booted up the arse. And everybody will getting dings left, right, and centre. That's true, but then it just becomes a money-making scheme for eBay. They're just going to be getting all these extra 4%, and that really winds me up.
I just want their algorithm as how they measured my peers. That's what I want.
Well, I think that just must be everybody that's selling clothing, mustn't it?
No. If you read into it, they go into a detailed description how they do it, because they look at similar people that are selling similar items at a similar percentage that you're selling.
Yeah.
It's not just
God, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds too
It's
complicated too complicated for my little mind to get around. Yola said she's had hers changed, and I saw that on Insta, and that's why I was calling up. But it doesn't. There's no way of going into those like numbers and saying, "Oh, those 6 INADs. Could you tell me which ones they were, so you can double check?" Unless you write it down at the time.
Download a report on those. I'm sure
you can go into your INADs, and I counted up. You can go into your returns, and I counted up all my returns in the projected date, and they tallied up the items not as described in my service metrics, and I should have at least 4 of them not there.
Yeah, there you go.
Because they said they would remove them.
Yeah.
And I know what they'd say to me. They'd say, "Well, it's been over this amount of time. We can't do anything about it."
Yeah. Richard says low value items, a lot of people don't bother returning because of the cost. However, if it's a free return, you can see returns going up. Yeah. Look at your closed returns and check all info in there. I need to have a into this. Thanks, Yola. Oh gosh, we're over time as well. What are your thoughts on this, Karen?
I had a bit of a panic when I saw about it, and then I went and checked mine, and I had 0. So I was quite lucky. I mean, the only thing I really get returned is shoes, and it's usually people pay the postage for the shoe being returned. So I am quite lucky. I did have one item that got returned, item not as described, and they'd broken it and then returned it saying it was broken when it was working when I sent it. But I was on the phone with eBay for ages, and I sorted that all out, and it got taken off. So I was really lucky in that respect. A couple of things I wanted to say was get well soon, Andrea, because Andrea's always here and not feeling well today. And also thanks so much for coming on, Beck.
The
panel.
Yeah, lovely. What are your thoughts on this, Bex?
With our stores, I think we were actually pretty lucky. Well, with the second store, it's not big enough to kind of have like a overall view because I've only started it like last 3 months really, so it's still very much a baby and still growing. But with the main store, I think our main concern is going to be because we don't send our items tracked, because most of our items on the main store go large letter. I'm a bit concerned about whether we're going to get an increase in items not received. And we do actually, me and Zahir were actually, I say we were laughing about it, but every month our late delivery seems to kind of go up and down. And it's something that I kind of am in a habit of going in and checking, whereas Zahir is not so much really great at checking that sort of thing. And he was looking at it the other day and he was like, oh, it's gone up again. But it seems to correct itself, which without us doing anything. So it's really, really strange to see that it goes up past the amount that we should actually have, because I think it's about 3%, and we keep going up over it, and then it kind of drops right back down again the following month, which is really strange.
I've had ones where buyers have marked it as not received on time, but eBay have found because in the title they've said quick dispatched, arrived early. What they do is it will go straight onto your system as a defect, and then their computer bots will pick it up and they'll remove it.
Blimey, that's good.
Yeah, because I've had a few do that. I mean, I've got 0.36, but they're well deserved. That was when I was on holiday, and I changed my dispatch time a day early, so I think 4 parcels went out late. So that's
I've actually got mine on 5-day dispatch now, and when I went to change it for going away for a week somewhere, I realised like my small parcels something already on it still. I'd just forgotten, not changed it, and I'm like, oh well, that's not affected anything, so I've just left them all on that, and I thought, well, that's going to cover me if herpes are a bit late or whatever.
I've done that for years. I've done that for months and months. I've just left it as a long dispatch time. Both of the times to be long, because then people are delighted because they get something a bit early. And I don't run into problems if I can't find the item, which occasionally happens at Treasure Boat Towers, or if I don't get to the post office or homies for some reason.
The only thing I was going to say, Bex, I've noticed, because what I've started doing, because for some reason my Drop and Go account, they cannot process anything large letter below 150 grams. I think it's just them trying to make more money. So I just print that off via shuttle now. I mean, I know it's a bit, because I've got the same thermal label printer, and I know it's not exactly the most clearest, but it still goes through. And what I've found is that it's actually getting tracked. When it gets dropped off, it comes up as it's been delivered. So whether that could cover you or go into an online Royal Mail account.
Yeah, we've noticed that with some of the items, particularly like the small parcels, because sometimes like that's probably like the max we go to is like a small parcel now, unless it's like one of those big boats that's his trying to get rid of. But yeah, I think we have noticed that. But yeah, I have to speak to Zahir about the large letter and see whether he's noticed that on the large letter stuff. But the small parcels definitely notice it. They do get like scanned, even though we send them like standard without any out any sign for.
I think there was a rumour that Royal Mail was going to track the large letters as well, like they do with the parcels.
Yeah.
Which would be fantastic if they do.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some obligation, isn't there, about tracking to be input on, if you're not using Shuttle, to input.
I think that's coming already. As well.
Oh, has it?
Anything over £20, you should be putting your tracking in. Apparently.
No, it's not just that. It's if it's anything, if you get an item not received, if you don't input your tracking details in time, as in before it should have been delivered, this is how I get it. If they open an item not received, you can't add your tracking number then. Anything over £20 has to be sent more than standard because it's not covered. Again, even if it comes up as item is not received, they will not cover you.
So if you're buying things on My Hermes, which is linked to your eBay account, obviously everything's got the number and is tracked. So that will automatically go in, won't it? That's automatically
as long as it's thingied over there, as long as it comes up, you know, because sometimes you can unlink them, can't you? So they don't update your tracking or mark them as dispatched. They need to mark them as dispatched and update their tracking for you.
Okay, I was just thinking, is there something I've not done? But I think it just automatically does because I buy everything through Shuttle or the link to My Hermes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm shuttling everything.
And what I would say, Shuttle, the reason I don't do Shuttle is because I don't like the big bill. But the good thing I would say about Shuttle is before I've brought it through Shuttle, Hermes have been 3 or 4 days late delivering it. But because I've purchased it through Shuttle and they can see I've posted it in time, they straight away took away the defect.
Yeah, that's a bonus. That's a positive. Yeah. Right, we're well over. Does anybody want to add anything on the positive or gripes at all?
Can I just add that I think Bex sounds like a pilot with that microphone on? Can we have a little bit and we're going to take off now?
I
need to get one, don't I?
Put one of our little scarves on.
I know, I should have thought about that.
Well, thank you for coming on, Bex.
No, it's been really awesome. Thank you for having me.
Cool. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, ladies. Apart from Kelly, did anybody else have anything to add? All right. Okay. Have a good weekend, everybody. Hope everybody has brilliant sales. Excellent. And we're not sure who's hosting next week, but we'll let you know.
We're still there next Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.